who can turn the world on with her smile, who can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile. Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. With each glance and every little movement you show it. Love is all around, no need to waste it. You can have the telling, why don't you take it? You're gonna make it after all. You're gonna make it after all.
Woo! Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Brace Yourself.
Hi, y'all. This is it.
This is it. Can you tell who our guest is tonight?
Look at this.
We are ready.
This is fantastic.
It is
Thank you. You know, you got these.
I did.
And these are fantastic. So I don't know what I owe you, but
No, it was a gift.
oh,
Yeah.
she's so sweet.
No.
Well,
Here's your
pumped
payment.
up.
Here's your payment right here.
Yeah, right there. This is a pretty good one tonight. So tonight is
Trust me, I made out better than you.
Stag's Leap. We're going Napa
Very
Valley.
nice.
It seems to be a theme, Napa Valley.
It does. Well, you have a lot of Napa.
I do
A
like
lot
it.
of you like the Napa
I do
Valley.
like
So
Napa Valley. So it's all
So-
good.
we
Giant show. I'm nervous.
this show is big. I'm going to the comments. So if you have questions for Bernadette tonight, we'll
Yes.
take questions.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our guests because we have a jam-packed show tonight.
It is
We have some new stuff we're going to be sharing a little bit later on. We've got Judy's Gems,
Yep. Judy's Gems.
and we have our guest, and we're not going to make you wait any longer.
This is our most famous guest. I'm nervous.
100%, 100%, an icon.
Icon is yes. I mean, this is sitcom royalty
Yes,
in my brain
100%.
because this is our era.
This is our
The
childhood.
70s when I was watching all that stuff.
Every one of them.
Oh.
Loved every show. Watched
Okay.
them again in the reruns.
Why are we waiting? Why
Right.
in the box?
So here,
Do the
we're
introduction.
going to take her out of the box. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight on our show, we have Bernadette Stanis, Thelma from Good Times,
Yes.
the iconic 1970s sitcom.
Yeah.
She's also an author. She's written books.
What isn't she doing?
She does everything. She's amazing. So we're not going to make you wait for another minute. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
Say hello.
Bernadette Stanis.
Wow.
Hello, how are you?
Great. I'm so honored to be here.
Oh, we are so honored to have you here. Are you kidding? I mean, when I say grew up watching,
Oh.
Good Times, the Jeffersons, All in the Family,
Name
all
name
of them.
all those sitcoms.
All
That's what we did. Those were our nights were planned around that sitcom TV stuff. I mean,
Yes.
that was just what was on TV and watched. I mean, now there's a billion different shows. But that's what we watched, and that's what made us laugh and get us through to the next day. I mean, we were kids.
We were
We were all
kids.
kids.
Yes,
That was a kid.
you were a kid.
That all the time. I get that all the time. People come up to me and they'll say, "I grew up on you." I said, "Yes, you did." I was really little. I'm like, "Okay, now."
Amazing. So,
Yeah.
was Good Times your first big acting job?
My professional job.
Really?
But I had studied at Juilliard, so I was up for the challenge. It was just that I was the rookie, and I had to watch everybody and learn a lot of the things that I didn't know.
Well, you definitely, I mean, you wouldn't know that was your first show ever. You would not know that.
Thank you.
So, Bernadette, to get that audition, so you were at Juilliard. So let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. So we're talking New York. Where Brownsville? Do I have that right?
Yeah, I
What
was
did
I was born and raised in Brooklyn,
So
New
you-
York.
Brooklyn, New
and
York.
Brownsville.
Okay. Take us on that journey up till you get to Juilliard, where you're like, that this is the career path for me.
Well, I always thought I was going to be a dancer, and then around 12 years old, I remember, I started dancing at 5, but at 12 years old, I started to read Sigmund Freud. I just knew I was going to be this doctor, this psychologist, psychiatrist, or something, and because I just loved the mind, right? But, I'm still doing my dance classes, I take acting classes. And so there was a beauty pageant. Well, I went to Juilliard. Then I was a beauty pageant, and I wanted to be in it. And they didn't have beauty pageants for teenagers at the time. Now, I was a young teen. I mean, a teen, a middle teen. And so I just begged mother to come be in the show. So she said yes. We rehearsed for like 2 months every Sunday. And then the moment of the show, I mean, the Sunday of the show, I got up and I looked in the mirror and I said, really? You never won it. No, you never won anything in your life. What makes you think you're gonna win this? You know how you just start talking yourself out of
Yeah, just like yourself out.
I got in the mirror and I just, by the time I got out of that mirror, I was like a monster, you know, the way I was talking to myself. So anyway, by this time, oh no.
That's all right.
By this time, I told my mom, I said, well, Mother, I don't think I'm going to go. My mother looked at me and she said, what? I said, no, I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel like going. She said, Bernadette, get dressed. Come on, let's go. Stop it. So, you know, I got dressed, but I was like taking so much time. I was maybe hoping that the pageant would be over by the time I got there, but it wasn't. So we took the subway all the way to Manhattan, and it took about an hour to get there. But I gave my mother a really hard time that day. I really feel bad about that. I mean, I just had a bad attitude because I was, didn't want to do it. And so when I got to Manhattan, I had mustered up an asthma attack. Now, you know, you can do that if you have asthma. You could just start wheezing, you know, and it'll come. So I had my little asthma attack, and I said, you know, when we got off the train, I said, well, Mom, I just can't. I can't. Look, I got asthma. I can't do it. She's like, Bernadette, there's a drugstore on the corner. We're going to go over there and get that Primatene Mist. You're going to take it. Remember back then, you just go to the drugstore and get the Primatene Mist. And you're going to take it, and you're going to get up on that stage and stop it. Just stop it. So I knew, I said, boy, I can't get around it. I have to do it. So I got up on the stage and I performed, you know, did my thing. I wouldn't act up on stage, of course not. So I did my little thing. And it was just that Sunday that a manager came over to my mom and said that we're looking for a daughter for a television show. And your daughter looks like she could fit right in. So he gave her a card to go to CBS to see Norman Lear. And by that time, they had casted Jimmy Walker for the part. So when we went up to the studio and opened up the door, there were like thousands of girls, okay? So I'm like, yeah, right. And anyway, I go into my audition, and there's Norman Lear sitting there behind the desk. He had that little white hat on. And then Jimmy Walker standing there with his hat on, you know, they look funny. So I looked at them, and then they gave me a script, and it didn't seem that it was anything that a girl from the projects would say. It was a little too pedantic. So I said to them, I said, would you mind if I just improvised this? So Norman looked at me and said, go ahead. And when I did that, I just treated them as if I would treat my brothers, just normal stuff. So I just, you know, walked in there and said, hey, you know, pick up all that mess and help me empty the garbage. And I hit him. I gave him a hit. And we just went back and forth. And Jimmy was like, you know. So we just went back and forth, and Norman started laughing. I don't know if that did it or not, but I didn't hear back from them for a month.
You think that did it? I mean, in your heart, was that like, listen, I'm improving this, and I'm going to pull it off, and that's probably what did it.
Yeah,
I think that
it probably is what did it. But in my mind, it was better than what they wrote, because what they wrote did not fit. And I'm the girl from the projects. Come on, I know what we say. So I was confident in that, and then I didn't hear back from them for a month. So I said, well, maybe I wasn't so confident. You know, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And then I heard a month later that they wanted me to go to California. There were 4 girls at that time, and we auditioned for like 2 weeks. And another month went by, and around Christmas time, they told my mom that I had gotten it.
Wow.
Just like that.
Amazing.
I mean,
life-changing stuff.
I saw an interview where you said that you, the cast, collectively had to help the writers write.
Oh, yeah.
Because all the writers were white writing for this, 70s show with an African-American family. So how did that come about?
It was very interesting because it was like the integration of, the two of us. It was like, we have a way of saying things, and the writers had a way of writing things. Being the first Black African television show on television, it was a little difficult because our communication was a little different. And so we were trying to tell them, no, we wouldn't say it like that. We would say it like this. And sometimes they would get offended. And then sometimes they would say, okay, what is it? How do you say it? Then they would overdo it and say it too Black. And we're like, no, we're not there. We're right here. So, I mean, it was really funny. If you really tape that, I'm sure people would be cracking up right now.
Now, you were 21 when you did this, or younger?
I was younger. I was 19.
Okay. So did you realize this sort of is kind of like a whirlwind, you weren't looking to be an actress, and all of a sudden here you are in California doing this show. Did you realize the importance of the show to the time, or, did that come a little later?
That came later, but what I did realize in life is this, when you mentally think of something, or when you speak of something, it may not happen right then and there, but eventually things do happen. And I used to watch every week, I would watch Marlo Thomas. I never met her, but I used to watch her all the time as that girl.
Yes.
And I adored her. I was that girl for that half an hour. Did you hear me? I was that girl. And I was like, oh, she's an actress. And then she's in Lincoln Center, and she spins around. So, when I went to Juilliard, I got in that little circle and I spun around, right?
Yes.
There's a little circle. Lincoln Center. And so I did that, but I always admired her and I wanted to be just like her. I loved her clothes. I loved the way she spoke, everything like that. So, in a way, I kind of ended up being that girl.
You certainly did, because you were the it girl in the 70s. I mean, forget about it.
Right. Were you nervous that the show wouldn't last, or you just knew right away, like, hey, something really good, the writing as it kind of evolved and developed, it got better and better. And then, did you know that this was going to be, that vehicle to really be an iconic show? I mean, honestly.
Absolutely not. I was just so happy to be on the show, learning my lines, doing my little part, just like, I always thought. So that's about it. I didn't think anything beyond that. I just wanted to make sure that I was doing everything right so that I wouldn't get thrown off the show. But as long as the show lasted, I was so happy just to be there and everything. I never, ever thought that the show was iconic. I never thought the show was any different than the way it was supposed to be. Not knowing, being that it was the first Black African-American whole family show, that it might mean something along the way. None of that ever bothered me. I didn't even know I was a sex symbol on the show. Didn't even know that. Never knew it. Just was being me. And someone said that to me, and I'm like, really? Sex symbol on the show? Okay.
Well, you were gracing all the teen Idol magazines and stuff like that. When you realized it, did you feel the pressure of being that teen idol?
No, because we didn't have social media back then. And then our fan mail was kind of really controlled. We would get our fan mail, but they would always control the fan mail according to the stars of the show. Like Esther Rolle would get a lot of fan mail. John Amos would get a tiny bit under her. Jimmy didn't get his fan mail at all because I know his was off the hook. So he couldn't even bring it in. Mine was like half, we're halfway down. And Ralph Carter, which played Michael, his was very even with mine. And then, of course, Wallona's, hers was kind of lower than ours. So that's how they monitored us so that nobody would get the bigger head or anything like that. So we were all controlled that way. So I didn't know really my fan mail. Half the fan mail I never got. So I did get some letters from prison. They let those through. Why, I don't know. But they, and
Good times is on. Good times is on. Everybody in the mess.
That's fantastic. That is
so
fantastic.
Bernadette, so at 19, they tell you, look, you got the part. You got to move. Like, you got to get up and move. Did they shoot this in LA?
No. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Hollywood.
So you went to Hollywood. So you were just like, bye, Mom. Or did anybody go with you? Or you were like 19 on your own?
My mom came with me for a while. But, she had the other children, and there are 5 of us. I'm the eldest, so she didn't want to leave her little ones behind. So she just, knew that, I'm sorry. She just knew that my, what she taught me, better hold on. You know what I mean? You're a good girl. Don't do this. Don't do that. And, I did listen. I'm a little Catholic school girl, so you know how that goes.
Because he was your role model. I mean,
You seem to have a very strong family foundation, which when I heard you talk about your mom and your dad in other interviews, sort of was like you were almost playing yourself in good times, in a sense. It was the same sort of values that it seemed your family held.
Well, being from Brownsville, it was a very rough area. So my father always taught us from the time we were little. He said, let me just tell you something. What's around you does not have to be in you. And because we were such a close-knit family, and in the projects, there's not very many rooms in the house, okay? So, everybody sees everybody anywhere you turn. So there's no hiding and slipping out the back door. None of that stuff. So you just might as well just go on and be good. So I just decided I'm just not going to fight these people. I'm going to do everything right because they're going to catch me anyway. Well, anyway, I just tried to do the right thing. And my father said this to me. He said to me, Bernadette, you're the oldest. If you go wrong, every one of my children are going to follow you and go wrong. Yeah. So if they go wrong, it's your fault. What?
That's some pressure right
there.
No pressure. I just wanted to drop this on you.
Yeah.
Wow. I was about 8 or 9. So I decided, I would do that. Between my parents and Catholic school, hey, I was a nervous wreck. Anyway, when I went to Hollywood, I realized that Hollywood really had nothing on Brownsville. Drugs was there in Brownsville. Drugs was there in Hollywood. Sex was there in Brownsville. Sex was there in Hollywood. I mean, yeah, there are parties in Brownsville that you do not go to, and there are parties in Hollywood that you do not go to. So it was just normal for me.
Right.
It just ended up being kind of normal.
Right. The summers were a little longer.
Yeah, that's all. Exactly. Do you have a question?
No, you go.
Okay.
Go, because that's kind of hard at the time.
No, that's okay. So I want to talk about television today and thinking in terms of Good Times. Do you think a show like Good Times would work in today's television market? And what do you think of the shows that represent African-American families in today's TV market?
Well, we came off of real situational comedy in 74. We came right on the tail of all the Caucasian shows that were written very real. So Good Times, the writers were excellent. I must say, they were excellent writers. And they wrote for us excellently. After we told them the thing we wanted, we didn't want, and stuff like that. But they were very good writers, all in all. So they wrote for us the same way they wrote for all the other shows.
Mhm.
So that is why I believe Good Times stands the test of time today, because they wrote the show real, like what happens to people when this happens. They deal with real situations, and I just thank God that the show came off of it like that. The shows today, to me, are very stereotypical of what is happening at the moment. Like, you know, Black people look like this right now. Black people act like this right now. Black people, you know, want to do the dozens right now. And I think it's very cliche and it's very sad. And I think that that's why the shows last a half a season, and off after a few shows, because it's nothing, it's no meat, it's no real, it's no heart. It's just the way you look, cliche, and that is what's happening to television today. So I'm glad that I was before that time. And it's, to me today, it's very hard for an African-American show to stay on the air for 43 years.
That is very
Bernadette,
true.
do you think you could come up with a concept to almost be that show that kind of is cutting edge again and breaks the mold and describes more what you're talking about, instead of like, you know, everybody wants that social media satisfaction right away. But where is that longevity? Where is that groundbreaking show to come along now?
Well, you know, it's like follow the leader. There are a lot of times that I personally, this is my personal opinion, I am on the ground a lot of times. I speak to my audience one-on-one because I go everywhere on the ground, and I have the books, and the books have allowed me to have real conversations with real people.
Sure.
Now, when I go to Hollywood and I audition or I speak to people in Hollywood, I think they're disconnected to reality. Really, I do. In that they're not really writing what people really, really want.
Right.
They're writing what they read about. They're writing what they think we're about. And so to me, the disconnection is obvious. That's why I don't fret over it.
Right.
I think that I could write I have very good concepts. I have very good feelings about what should happen. I feel if I had a very good writer from back in the day like that could write like that, write those jokes and hit it like that. And I think that the combination of myself and someone like that would be all.
Uh-oh. She's frozen.
She froze up.
She froze up. Hopefully it'll kick back in shortly. I hope. So.
Because this is a good
this is great.
question. Right,
Bernadette's frozen. So let's just, let's see some of the comments. Neil Washington loved her on Good Times. Albert Salinitri just tuned in. Great interview so far. Hello to everyone. So Bernadette is frozen. There are some people here in the studio. Do you see? I don't know who they are. If they're part of Bernadette, or I'm not really sure.
Yeah, maybe
how they got the link, and now we just lost Bernadette. So hopefully she will hit the link again and come back. I have a few more questions.
But yeah, I do too. But can you imagine how awesome it would be to, for her to, develop a show? I got an idea. Second, I'm an idea guy.
You are the idea guy. You are. You've got great ideas.
I don't know.
So I hope she can make it back in. It's been like, oh my goodness, what a trial. But it's because I have so many other questions. I wanted to ask her about her character and Esther Roll.
Yeah, we got to touch on Esther Roll.
We got to touch on that.
Then there's books.
Our books.
I don't want to give everything away because she's coming back. So you guys got to hang in there.
Yeah, you guys got to just hang in there. So we'll just talk for a little while we wait. Is she back there?
No, not yet. Okay. I don't know. But I'm marveling at my shirt. This
Yeah.
is the good time.
It is. It's a
What
great
time is it?
good times. Yeah, I really like my good time show.
Like,
I'm
you got the right size, by the way.
I'm so happy because
Thank was that pressure for you?
it was because I didn't want it to be too
It's
small.
not like Amazon couldn't have just like boom, it's there the next day.
No, I know, but then if it's too small, then it's like, well, what does she think I'm a wimp? And if it's too big, she's like, what does she think I'm fat?
So where do you get the shirt on like a good time site?
No, I had to Google retro
70s
TV
retro.
shows, 70s shows,
I'm so
and then I had
happy.
to put good times.
Love it.
So
I'm wearing this everywhere.
I'd love to know who is Jade Avery and Shelton Smith. Shelton Smith, are you with Bernadette? Give me a thumbs up if you are. Is that a thumbs up?
That's a thumbs up.
Oh, you're in a place with her right now. Should we get him?
We're trying to get, bring him on. Let's go.
Hello there, Sheldon. How are you?
Hello there. I'm great. How
Are you with Bernadette right now?
I'm not with her now. I'm Bernadette's team, but I'm not with her currently.
Okay, because we lost her. Maybe she's back. Let's see.
Let's see.
Oh,
There
there
she
she is. Sheldon, I'm putting you in the box, man.
Okay. Let's go. Go ahead.
All right. I can't get.
No,
Okay.
he's staying now.
Yeah, he's staying. Hold on. All right, there we go. Now I gotta get. Hi.
Wow. There you are.
Oh my goodness, your lighting is even better now. You're back.
Your lighting is better. More radiant.
Oh, because it's supposed to be in the right.
Beautiful. So you froze in the middle of your answer.
Yeah, I think you could develop a great
Yes.
concept. I think
Yeah,
that's
I could develop a great concept and write it the way people they want to see it. You know what? I hear this all the time. I hear people always saying to me, "Are there going to be a reunion for Good Times?" I said, "No, there's not going to be a reunion." Oh, we wanted to see it. And the reason why I believe that I hear this almost every single person I meet is because Good Times was literally snatched off the air in midstream.
yeah.
And I think that when that happens, when people are not given a good conclusion or they're not satisfied with the end results or whatever, they feel empty. And it's been 40 something years and they're still asking me, they need closure. They want closure. They say they don't want to know, they don't want an old Good Times where they have new people. They want us. I hear it all the time. They want to know what happened to Thelma. They want to know what happened to JJ, the real ones. They want to know, did I marry Keith? Did we have children? And I think that what they should have done was should have continued it. And Thelma and Keith should have gotten married and they could have continued it. That's what I believe.
Yeah,
Yes,
I believe that should be too. Was that hard for you that they just cut it like that? You were like, whoa, wait, what? What do you mean? What happened?
Well, I thought it was a bit harsh, and they had their reasons, which none gave me a reason. No, I never got a reason for it.
Amazing.
Were you aware of the tension on the set between the writers and Esther Roll and I always screw John Amos? Or
I think that it could have been handled. There are many other shows, All in the Family had a big issue, he was a mess. Red Fox was a mess. And I mean, they didn't throw them off the show. So I'm really, interested into knowing why they did take John off the show like that. I do know that Esther Roll did not want buffoonery. She didn't mind the joking, but she didn't want the world to see him as a thief or as a clown or anything like that, which I can understand from once we've come and we had just, the 60s was just done and we were fighting for this and fighting for that. So she wanted everything to look kind of, decent. And I understand that. But you will find some people in projects that are funny because if you're not funny, sometimes you're gonna cry, Right. So I understood his character. Although I was a young person, so I didn't understand the politics of maybe where they were coming from. But John wanted it a certain way, and Esther wanted it a certain way, and they got it that way. But I think like John always said, instead of saying it this way, he said it that way. If he was a little older, he might have said it that way, and it would be okay. Who knows? But it was just personality problems or whatever. But I don't think I mean, in front of me, everybody was professional. I never saw anything, and I stayed in my place. I didn't go behind anybody's back trying to figure out what they're doing. I'm glad I'm on the show, So so I don't understand what happened there. But I did watch the Norman Lear documentary, and I learned something which I didn't know. And I learned that the reason why he decided to take the show off, and the reason why he decided to do the Jeffersons, was because he said that some of the Black Panthers came to him and said that Good Times was a bad representation of Black people.
Wow.
Really?
Now, I was shocked because I thought we were doing a pretty doggone good representation.
Absolutely. I think that, when I remember reading that they wanted Florida to be a single mom, and she was against it and wouldn't do it. And then that's why, because she didn't want to perpetuate that Black fathers leave. And so
exactly.
She wouldn't do the show. And then they finally came around and said, okay, we're going to make it a full family. And they did. And I kind of applaud that in a way, because you're saying, in essence, if you don't do it my way, you're not doing the show, and you're not going to have a job then. You know what I mean? So she was right, though.
I think she was right, because I know I grew up with a dad, and she said she grew up with a dad, although her family had 18 children, had to be a dad there. But
that's fantastic. 18 children? Holy cow.
I can't even fathom.
I mean, it's hard to handle too.
Yeah,
You got that right.
18 pregnancies? Oh my God.
How do you remember names? Esther. What?
I don't know how they did it, but they did it, honey. I was like,
Holy cow.
But so she wanted to represent the male, and I'm glad she did, because what it did for America was it helped so many people who didn't have dads. And this is of all nationalities. I hear it all the time. You know what? He was my dad. He was my dad. Now that's a Black man, and these are white people, and he was my dad. So that shows you that they love the person. They love what that stood for. It wasn't about color, it was about, he's a real dad, And I'm glad that we were able to get that across, that Esther was able to get that across, because that helped a lot of people. And even today, young people who don't have dads, even girls and stuff like that, they look and they live that half an hour with us.
I agree with you. And I remember watching the show when I was young. And to me, as a kid, it was a show about a family that I loved to watch.
Right.
It wasn't a show about a Black family, or it was a show about a family that made me laugh, and I loved it.
Right.
I enjoyed it. And I feel like we may have lost that a little bit today, because everybody's got to be identified as something. It can't just be a really good show.
A show. And what I liked about the way Norman did his shows, he made everybody a human being. It's like there was a connection. I had a reason for being. I fell in love and fell out of love like teenagers do. I fell in love with an older guy. My parents didn't like it. Okay. I fell in love with a guy I thought was married, because I couldn't reach him at night, but he was in jail. Okay.
Right. So many
halfway house. But it was just a wonderful show because it touched on very real issues. And that's what I love about Good Times. People watch it today and they still identify because human beings don't really change. Things around us change, technology changes, but the simple heart doesn't change. It basically is the same. We still fall in love, we still get hurt, we still want to live, we still don't want pain, we still want to eat, we want to dress cute, the whole nine. We're the same. And what's so beautiful about the show was I hear a lot of people telling me, it gave other people a chance to see what a real Black family is about. So a lot of them didn't even have a concept of what a Black family was about. They never even had a concept, So we showed them that we are human beings. We're just like you. We're struggling. We're poor. Maybe you guys are not poor, but we're poor. So this is how it was. And this is how we made ends meet. And no matter how poor we were, we stuck together. And Daddy always fought for a job. The struggle was real, and we made it and we kept making it. And so that gave people hope.
Bernadette, did you have a favorite episode that you really liked? Maybe not necessarily your character that was the central focal point, but were you like, all right, that's the episode that could be whatever you want to say, socially relevant, really funny. There's some iconic episodes in that show that are amazing. So like when you get the scholarship, you get the scholarship.
I was a good sidekick.
You what?
I set up Jimmy's jokes.
Yes,
you did for sure.
Yes, you did. He couldn't be without you.
No, he couldn't. And always complaining that you couldn't cook.
Well, I couldn't boil water. They had to, it's like they wanted her to be educated and to do a dancing and stuff, and not to be a domestic and not to be a cook or a cleaner. And she wasn't. She didn't learn how to cook. But that's okay. Yeah, nobody wanted to eat Velma's food.
Yeah, I think that I have my notes here. I'm sorry. So
yeah, go.
No, that's okay. So go ahead, because I lost my spot.
I want to talk about the books because
the books,
think that Bernadette specifically wrote 2 books almost directed at you.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Relationships, the good, the bad, the ugly. 100%. And 101 finances.
Yeah.
Did you write these specifically for Roseanne, and how did you know?
I think that they spoke to me, and I need to read 101 finances, definitely.
Oh, that is so funny. I wrote that book because, I was like this. I had done a play and I was the producer. I was the star in it. I had other celebrities in it. And the show was very successful. But after I finished doing that show, I was so exhausted. It was like I had to be mommy, daddy, put the set together. It was a lot. And I said, you know what? I just want to do something all by myself for a minute. So I said, I always wanted to write a book. So I decided to write the book. But I wrote the book because I had done a lot of plays across the country. And most of my friends are not in LA. Most of my friends, I have friends in LA, but most of them are everywhere in every state in this United States. So I would talk to them and they would talk to me and I would give them good advice. Like a girlfriend would give them good advice. And they felt free. They felt free talking to me because I didn't know any of their real friends. Right? So they can talk to me and gossip and tell me all that dirt, and I couldn't spread it. I didn't know anybody. So that's how I learned. That's how I learned a lot about what was going on across the country. And I said, I keep hearing these same scenarios all the time. I said, maybe if I brought them to the forefront, maybe it could help people to identify with them and maybe not do them, or it would help them. And I started to write them. And when I wrote them, I ended up writing 101 of them. which I could have written many more, but I said 101 is good. It's like school 101, you know? And I did my responses to them. And not only does it help young people, it helps a lot of people, because there was a woman who was married for 30 years, and she bought my book, and she came back and she told me, she said, I did not know. I was so disconnected from what was happening in the world because I was married for 30 years that this sort of shocked me back into reality. It's like, is this really what's going on? Yeah. She said, but if I didn't have this book, I probably would have been thrown out there to the wolves. I said, you would have. So I think it helped. Wow. It helped her.
That's fantastic.
Really yeah. And so then after that.
Now the book that you wrote
on finances. Yeah. Well, the book.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. So I'm just gonna wait for you back.
Okay. The book I wrote on finances came after the relationship book, because I would do seminars on finance, on relationships, have so much fun. But then I would hear that, you know, a lot of problems in the relationships came from finances. And I said, wow, well, maybe people just don't understand basic finances, because, you know, it took me, you know, everybody has to learn them. You don't learn it in school. So I said, well, maybe if we just start writing some of the basic things down about finances, because, you know, people break up because you ran up my credit card. You wasn't supposed to run up my credit card, but pay the bill. You didn't pay the bill. And, you know, those things. So I just wrote a very simple book that had some scenarios in it that are really funny and good. And then I wrote some tips and terms, how to clean your credit, because I wanted it to be informational. Because once we learn the basic things about finances and how we relate to our own money, then relating to someone else and with money is very easy. It's much, much easier. Yes. Easier than, you know.
Did you like the writing process of writing the book? Are you a good writer? Like, look, man, I'm going to do this book in no time.
No, I am a good writer. Thank you. I am. But I'm not tooting my own horn, but I've been told. But anyway, it's like no time on the writing. It's a process that takes its own time, and you have a deadline, yes. But there are days when you'll write a lot, and there are days when you will write 2 or 3 things, and you won't write much more, and you'll be like, well, I'm supposed to be writing more, but I'm not. So writing it comes from within. It's something that has to just come. And I'm just a religious kind of person. So every time I would sit down to write, I'd say my prayers so God could help me out, you know, so I could write.
That's fantastic. And speaking of which, your brother. Are you kidding me? I am addicted to his Instagram. So your brother Gregory, right? It might be the greatest thing ever. He is impeccably dressed.
Oh, yes.
His pocket squares are on point all the time. Like, when I knew you were growing up.
It was so funny. It was so funny because during the pandemic, people were going through so much. And I asked my brother, I said, you know, Kyle, I think that it would be so great if you would just do some of your sermons and I could put it on my Instagram and different places. I said, because people need encouragement. So
positivity. The world needs positivity, Bernadette.
Yes.
And he gives it. And I'm like, I'm in.
Man. And you know what I did? So the other day, I was looking through my Instagram with my daughters and my friends, and they were looking at it. They said, well, you might as well turn this into Reverend Stanislaus's Instagram. All over your page. They said, you're not even texting, you're not even putting anything up. I said, I am, but he's more consistent. He's every Sunday. So they said to me, well, okay. But I told him, I said, I moved his latest sermons to my story so that other people can hear it too, because his sermons are so good.
They're awesome. I love it. I'm addicted. I'm in. 100%.
You're in?
So much fun.
He would love to hear that.
Yeah, he's got a wonderful way of communicating, and it's very.
Yeah, the messages are positive in the world right now. God knows, like how we didn't even talk about how you're dealing with COVID and all that kind of stuff. But that's what everybody needs right now.
Yeah.
And that's they need a common sense approach to religion. I mean, you need to preach commonly, to just explain it to them black and white, and some of the things that he said in the Bible that I have heard, but I never heard it the way he broke it down.
Yes,
No.
I agree. I think that we put too much pomp and ceremony and with religion, and really it's just like
Common sense.
it's common sense. Be nice to each other.
Be good.
Don't hurt people. It's
Yeah. And so that's why we did it that way. And I told him the other day that I moved the later ones to my story so other people can see it. And he said, thank you. And so whenever he gives me more, I'll put the new ones up just the same.
So good. Awesome.
I want to just talk quickly about your last book. And that was a very personal story for you. And so I'm assuming the writing process of that book was probably very different from the first two books.
Yes, it was. In fact, I didn't answer that question for you, but I'm going to answer it. The first book I wrote on relationships, it took me 18 months to write that. So I felt like I was giving birth to an elephant. Wait. And then the second, yes, it felt that way. And then the second book was a little more simple for me. And it took me 7 months to do that one. So I had a premature baby. And then the last book, The Last Night, I started writing that book the night Mommy passed. And that's because I had promised that we would write a book together, but the Alzheimer's came in so fast. My head was spinning. I couldn't even form a thought. Okay. I just had to keep her alive. And the last night of her life, which was very different than what I had expected. It was very peaceful, actually. And the moment that I knew she was transitioning, I was talking to her, and I said, the very last words I said to her was, Mommy is not over yet. And she left, and I promised her that I would get that book out, and I did. But that book took me 5 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So never judge your writing by the time,
Right.
because everything takes its own time.
Yeah, I'm sure that was an emotional journey for you too on those years. And then when you finally, you write the last word, and you think you're satisfied, and you're done. Man, that's 5 years of your life. It's a lot of time, and I'm sure it's heart and soul put into it. I encourage everybody to go out and read that, because I read some excerpts from it. It's just pretty amazing, pretty touching.
Yeah, I want
to tribute to your mom.
I want to buy it for my friend, because her mom had Alzheimer's and passed away, and I think she would really appreciate it. Definitely.
Yeah. Did you read the part about I didn't realize I was gaining weight?
No.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna just give you this little bit. As a caregiver, sometimes we forget about ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We're so busy trying to keep the person alive, keep the medicine on schedule, the doctor's appointments, and having a kid you got to take to school, a teenager, and then you got a book here you're trying to do. It was a mess. So I started gaining weight. And you know how when you gain weight, you don't realize you gain weight?
Oh, it happens to me all the time.
You know what I mean? And I was gaining so much weight, I won't even tell you the digits I was up to. So then, wait a minute. I kept saying, I don't understand. Maybe I put my clothes in the cleanest of the trunk. I don't get it. So I had to go out and buy some more clothes. And I went to the store to buy these clothes. And don't get offended by this. But I went to buy these clothes, and I tried on this size that I thought I was. And I said, why are these people buying European sizes? Because we have different sizes, right? So I'm like, oh my God. And then somebody said, no, you're fat. What? I am?
Why did that happen?
When that happened. But I'm just saying those things do happen to caregivers. You don't even realize it. So as a caregiver, you have to take care of yourself. You have to go to the gym. You have to still watch your diet because a lot of times caregivers pass away before the person they're caring for.
Yeah, it's
But
stressful. Obviously, when it's somebody as impactful as your own mother,
Yeah.
You're doing everything in your power to provide that care, and that's an emotional. Not only is that a physical drain, right?
Yeah.
It's emotionally draining. So you get fatigued and you get tired, and that's part of it. Where you know what, I ain't getting on the bike today. I ain't going on the road today. I got to be ready to go tomorrow, and that's part of it. And you know what? Listen, when I get stressed, I like to eat.
me too. I'm an eater, and some people get skinny. They just don't eat. I'm like, really?
If I don't eat, I feel like I seem to get heavier when I don't eat.
How does that?
I don't even know how it works.
That's a good one. That's a good one, Roseanne.
I don't know how it works, but it seems to happen. Like today, I said to Chris, I was waving goodbye to the kids on the bus, and I was like, and I just felt my underarms shaking back and forth. I'm like, oh God, I've got to do
You're
something.
not by yourself, girl. You're not by yourself.
All right, so I want to talk about how you guys kind of came and met.
Okay, how we
Like,
met.
we talked about this a little bit. We did a little preamble,
Mhm.
and I'm curious. Like, so she's Bernadette's at the table next to you, and you're doing a signing. What was the event?
Right. So it was the Collector Fest, it
Yes.
was called. And I had been asked to do it. And so they sent me the flyer, and I saw all these things that were going on. And then it was like all the people who were going to be there. And I was like, holy
Oh my
crap,
God.
Thelma? Like I couldn't
And
believe
then you're
it.
lucky enough to be there.
Then my table was
With
right
Bernadette.
next to her.
Oh,
And I kept looking over at her all day, but I was too afraid. I was too afraid to look over. So I had the guy who booked us, and I was like, can you introduce me?
To it.
So
So now, when you're sitting there, like Bernadette, listen, you're Thelma, right?
Thelma.
And this is Pepper. Pepper's and Andy.
Yeah,
She's Andy
you
from
know.
Carolina. So, is there a competition? Like, are you watching? Like, look at she's signing one. She's signing.
No. Actually, I was like saying, "Oh, that's Annie." Oh, that's Annie. And I told my kids I was going to be on with you today, and they're like, "Ma, Annie, the Annie." I said, "Yes."
Well, I was like, she had this box of pictures because I was woefully unprepared. I did not know what you were supposed to bring to one of these things. And she's pulling out pictures on stacks of it. And people are coming up and they're peeling off 20s. They're just giving
Ripping
them
away.
And she's signing it. I'm like, this is amazing. So I said I had to meet her.
So she kicked you.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
See, I didn't know there was a
No, I was just excited to be there, and the fact that people were like, "Wow, you're Pepper," I'm like, thank you. Let me pay you. But no, then I went up to her and I met her, and she was very gracious and wonderful. And I said, "You know what, Roseanne?" In my head, now I'm talking to myself. I said, "You're not getting another chance.
You better ask."
So you better ask." I told her, I said,
And you know what? Because we were in so much going on, I opened my book and I put it down, but I put it down on the wrong month. And I said, then it hit me. Wait a minute. Did I miss it? Oh my God. Oh, and when I realized that I missed your show, I felt so bad. I felt
you kidding me?
oh my God, and that's why I said I'm going to do a video for you, but because I want everybody to
Oh, amazing!
It was so great.
Not your fault.
I think I got in the car from there. We left Collector Fest. I got in the car and I called Chris and I was like,
You don't understand.
"You're not gonna believe! Oh, I just got to be on the show."
You don't understand. So, Bernadette, let me ask you a question. Do you like those type of things and the interaction with the fans? Because the fans are the fans. I mean, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
In a way. You do.
I do like it. I do like it. It's very, very interesting. You get all types of people, and some people are so sweet and they tell you their story, and you talk with them and they give you their number, and you can't keep up with everyone, but at least you do have all their cards. But then anything, like if I say to them, are you on Instagram or are you on Facebook? You can follow me there. They'll do it, and they're just so happy to see me. And then they said, I'm so glad you're still with us.
You're like, what? Hello? It was the 7th. It's not like it was 1922.
You were in silent films.
I would have been like, give me the picture back. Give me the picture. We're done. Give me
And
the
I'm
picture.
keeping the 20.
Yeah, give me the picture. I'm taking the money. You're out.
It's so cute, though, you know, and they love me so much. And sometimes this is very, very interesting. I have had men and women come up to me and have tears in their eyes.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
And it's because of their grandmother and their father, mother that they were sitting down watching Good Times. So it brings back all of their childhood memories.
oh, it absolutely does. It was
It's
wonderful.
kind of the storybook of our youth. You know,
Yeah.
it's like when you hear good music, that's our soundtrack. When you see it, I mean, that's what we did every night. We watched TV
Well,
as a family. We did.
I told my sister that you were going to be on the show, and my brother-in-law walked in the kitchen and he said, "Who?" And I said, "Thelma from Good Times is going to be on the show." And him and my sister burst out and sang every lyric of the Good Times theme song in the kitchen, dancing around.
Yeah. I mean, who didn't know all that stuff? My gosh, it was such an iconic time. And you know, when you look back on it years now, like
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
40 years later, we're just, you know, it's amazing.
100%. It was great. And I really, you know, I can't thank you enough for being on the show.
I got one more question.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So you were at so they did the All in the Family live, and then they did
Yeah, they did the Good
the
Times.
Good Times live, and then Corinne Fox played you. I think you think Corinne Fox. This is a personal thing.
You're allowed to have your opinion.
I'm having that opinion. It's my personal statement.
What did you think of
Did
that?
you like that whole concept, doing it live?
Well, I thought it was extremely difficult for them to do, being that all of us were sitting right there watching them.
Ooh.
And yeah, we were. And I thought it was very difficult for them. And I know they felt very, very, you know, nervous about it, about doing it, because they wanted to be like us, remember the lines and all that. It was just a weird thing, you know, and especially with all of the audience seeing all of us sitting there, it's like, wait a minute, this just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the same. Well, the same vibe. It just didn't have the same vibe. And I know they tried, but not the
You
same.
can't redo a classic.
No.
You just can't do it.
Do that alone.
You have to. Some things you just need to let it be in its original state
Yeah.
and leave it, because when you try to resurrect it, you're watching. Everybody who was watching was saying, "That's not
They
Thelma.
were comparing.
That's not KJ."
That doesn't work. That
not
doesn't
smart.
work. You
Yeah.
know, and it's sad because, you know, you can't redo something like that, you know? They don't want to see that. In fact, what they do want to see is the original. Like I said, they use our pictures so the audience thinks that they're going to see us
Yeah, but
and they're going to see somebody else. So, you know, that's like, you know, come on, don't sell that.
yeah, that's not good. So what do you have coming up? Anything coming up that you want to promote? I know you do a lot of book signings and everything.
Well, I did a little movie called Dreams from the Edge. It's going to go to the film festival this year. And and hopefully it'll be picked up because it's a very beautiful little story. I play a mom who was an actress actually, and who didn't get a break in life. And my mother didn't want me to be an actress and thought I couldn't act. So I never was very good, I thought. And then my daughter comes up and she wants to be an actress and she is very good. And I'm knocking her, you know, like, you're not that good, doing what my mother did to me in the show. And come to find out, I tell her what happened, you know, how my mother didn't support me and things like that. And so she goes out and gets a part and she pulls me into the part, you know, another part.
Okay.
So she brings me back. So it's kind of cute.
Oh, that sounds good. What's the name of it again?
Dreams from the Edge.
Dreams from the Edge. All right, we will be looking for it to come to, whatever. I don't know, theater, Netflix, one of those. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So great. For an hour. With you. It's just
I enjoyed it.
awesome.
And the best part about this is people will now watch this tomorrow and the next day on YouTube and Facebook, and the comments will come in, and I've already seen the comments here. What somebody, John Rube, said, I thought the show was and is timeless, which I agree. And he had said, and a lot of parents never let their kids know that they were just getting by. So one of the themes that we talked about in the show. So you were absolutely wonderful.
Fantastic.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I hope to come back again someday.
I would love to have you back, and I will definitely be in touch. I'll just shoot you an email or something every once in a while and say hello. We're friends. Except on Facebook, please.
Oh, shit.
I tried to tag you. You didn't accept my friend request yet.
Well, let me tell you, me and Gregory are going to become fast friends because I watch every week.
Yes.
I'm just saying. This is what happened.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm going to tell him what you said, Chris. Okay?
Perfect.
He's going to like that. And, my Instagram is Thelma of Good Times. And my Facebook is Bernadette Stanis, but the one with the little blue dot, because we have imposters on there. So
yes, you are the verified.
Yeah,
you are verified.
Blue check.
Well, cheers to you,
cheers
Bernadette.
To you. Thank you so much, Bernadette.
Thank you very much for joining the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Bernadette Stanis. We will be looking for your movie, Dreams from the Edge.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye. All right.
Come on, man.
I'm just ending the show.
Goodbye,
I'm out.
We just had Bernadette.
Yeah, that's Thelma.
Stanis.
And by the way,
Thelma.
I have like 7,000
On
other
the
questions.
And Judy's probably so mad because she's been sitting in her living room.
Yeah, whatever. Judy knows. Listen, this was a good one. I think Judy would actually
you need
prepped.
more wine.
I definitely need more wine.
Yeah. I thought her answers to the questions were really extraordinary. I mean, and I asked her the question about what she thinks the show's today, and she answered it exactly how I thought she would.
Yeah, for sure. It's you want to hit so much to talk about.
Yeah,
because of the legacy of the show, and the things that went on, and just we didn't really talk about the show itself, and the episodes of the show, and I tried to get there, but there's so much other stuff to talk about. What an amazing
100%.
And it's a full life. She's living the full life.
She's
so,
really,
just amazing. Good for you, man. That's a great guest. And well done. Well done, Pepper / Annie /
nobody.
What? What happened? What just
I don't
happened?
know. Nobody. So let's bring on Judy.
Bring her on.
Because everybody loves a good gem from Judy.
There?
She's getting up now.
Where you going? Now where you going?
Where she's running away.
Just put it on him. Yeah. There it is. There she is.
Hello, Judy.
It's 8:03. Sign off. You have to know when to leave. Leave them wanting more.
Okay, bye.
Bye now.
Goodbye. It's late.
Everybody loves you.
It's not that late. It's 8 o'clock.
Listen, after such a nice interview with a famous person, I have nothing of any merit to contribute.
Okay. Well, that's the show for tonight.
Okay. Well, we're going to do It's Peppered. And then Judy will be back next week with nothing to say.
Tune in next week when Judy says nothing.
I just really had a very strenuous day, as usual.
Yeah,
and I don't want to bring your audience down.
No, this is
You want to talk about our Easter dinner, Ro? You want to talk about our Easter? Oh, you see the picture in the background?
Yes.
Yeah, I see it.
It's not crooked. It's as straight as an arrow, but it does look crooked.
It does.
I look like the old woman who lived in the crooked house.
That's good.
So, yeah, I'll talk about our Easter, Mom.
Okay.
Easter where my sister...
So where did you have the Easter dinner?
My sister's house.
You said, so who was there? Let's frame this.
Okay, so it was me and my daughters,
Got it.
my mom,
Got it.
my sister,
Yes.
her husband, and the
Kids.
and her father-in-law.
Got it.
It was a lovely day.
Perfect.
Great
What
snacks.
time? Were we there early?
We got there about 3.
It's in the afternoon.
About 3.
Right.
TMI.
So we had some snacks, and then we had dinner. And she started the dinner with a lovely lobster bisque.
Lobster bisque. Excellent.
We went on to have filet mignon.
Sounds like the menu sounds pretty good
Yeah,
so
string
far.
beans, carrot. It was really good.
I'm wondering why I wasn't invited.
Tons of dessert,
Thanks, Amy and Rob.
and then we all go home.
Okay.
And the next day, we get a text from my brother-in-law that says, "Did anybody else have stomach issues last night?" And one by one, we're like, "Oh yeah, I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I was up all night. Oh, I had cramps all night." So we narrowed it down to probably my sister had made the lobster bisque and froze it, but she bought fresh lobster from Costco,
I love Costco.
and we think that was the dirty lobster
So you think the dirty lobster got you?
because we had the lobster bisque already once, and then she froze it.
Oh, it was repurposed lobster bisque?
Yeah,
Oh, well, that's
but you could freeze it.
It
It's
wasn't repurposed. It was added to.
so we added the new lobster to the.
that's repurposed.
Yeah, but the lobster was no good.
Who bought the lobster?
They did. So bottom line
I
is,
don't think it was the lobster.
You don't think it was? What do you think it was?
Something in the hors d'oeuvres.
Interesting.
oh, she thinks it was the liverwurst and cream cheese,
I'm going to tell you this.
the Braunschweiger.
I'm going to tell you this. I had a little stomach issue last week. Madison had it. I think there's a little bug going around. That's
Oh,
all.
maybe.
I do too.
I mean, it
That's
worked.
what I think it is. I don't think it's necessarily the food, especially if you added lobster and lobster. Just you cook the crap out of it. Nothing's going to get you.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I think I'm not a
Okay.
doctor. I just play one on the show.
Exactly.
So I think maybe there was
Well,
a little stomach bug.
All I can say is I think as a family, we have really gone beyond the limits of knowing each one of us inside and out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we know a lot about each other now.
So you guys talked all about your poopy.
Yeah, we
Like,
did. We did.
who did the most pooping?
My daughter Bridget,
Oh, yeah.
and that was before she had to drink the prep for her
Bridget.
colonoscopy.
Oh my God, that's
That was a whole nother fiasco.
And they were posting memes from like bridesmaids. It's coming out of me like lava. And, it was hilarious. And then my nephew,
Yeah.
because we all figured it was from the bisque, so we didn't really know, but we figured it was. He was the only one, him and the father-in-law, who weren't
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
And my
Wow.
I guess
Wow.
it was a good time to be allergic to shellfish.
There you go. So maybe it was, but who knows? Some people get it, some people don't. This is just a theory on my part. But you had
Yes.
the family was together that night. It was fantastic, right? You were like, great, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And the next
It was good.
day, not so much.
But I was fine.
You were good, right?
I was good. Once,
you?
once around, and I went back to sleep.
There you have
But
it.
I woke you up in the middle of the night. Now my poor Sarah missed work the next day because she had terrible
that's
cramps.
No bueno.
Yeah,
The young ones, they can't,
are
you know.
the young ones.
They just,
Yeah,
they're
well,
so-
they know how to, crap like
Yeah.
chicken.
Yeah, I mean,
Back
come
in
on,
the day.
I abused my body all by myself.
Right.
A little lobster isn't going to hurt me.
Yeah, lobster. 7 bottles of wine.
Good. I figured, but see, they make fun of me, but I think the wine kills a lot of the germs.
Hell yeah.
So,
Drink up. Judy, you
Yeah.
got any drinks tonight, or what are you doing?
No, I don't. I'm just,
Judy, you want to stick around for Pepper Gets Peppered?
okay.
You want
All
in?
right. So,
Okay.
folks, we got a
you
little
have
treat.
Something a little new.
A little treat. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do our segment, Pepper Gets
This is the new
Peppered.
intro.
Never gets
That is absolutely amazing.
I love that. So we got a shout out. So that's Uncle Petey.
Uncle Petey,
Uncle
thank
Pete
you for the
Kletchka.
theme.
Go find him on Uncle Petey
Oh,
Instagram
yeah.
and Uncle Petey
Oh, yeah.
Facebook. He's got all sorts of stuff, and he wrote that for us.
He wrote it.
And it was funny because when he wrote it, I'm like, I want something a little edgier, and he's like, bro, this is about as edgy as I get. So then he came up with that, and we pieced it together. And
We filmed it. We filmed it this afternoon.
Yeah, this is it.
This
what
is how
you
it
get.
works.
So it goes fast, and Pepper's about to get peppered. So Judy,
All right.
you ready?
I'm ready.
So this is, I swear to you, if you guys get any of these wrong, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Oh, no pressure.
This is
All right.
This is all softballs. This is the 1970s TV theme songs edition
Boom.
for sitcoms.
Okay.
And I'm just going to start by, you have to name the show. I'm going to tell
Okay.
you the lyrics of the
And
sitcom,
we name the show.
and you got to name the show.
Okay.
It's pretty simple.
All right. Go ahead.
You know, it's different talking the lyrics than
This is
singing.
going to be in spoken word.
Yeah.
You're going to have to put it together.
All right.
Honestly, if you don't get them all, shame. First one, you ready?
We're ready.
Love. Exciting and new.
Love Boat.
You didn't even let her answer. You didn't even let me get.
Yeah, really.
How to get peppered? Sorry, Judy.
It's okay.
Exciting and new. Come aboard.
Boy, we're
Texting you.
you the
And-
love boat.
No. And love. Life's sweetest reward. Let it flow. It floats back to you. The love boat. Yep. Now you got it.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly enough, Paul Williams wrote that. Right? And
Sounds
then-
very Paul
there you go. It was
Williams.
Paul Williams,
Yeah.
right? So that's a iconic song. All right,
Paul Williams. Was that Little Enos?
was that what?
Little Enos? Paul Williams?
I don't know.
Enos. Mom, what are you talking about?
I
Stop
don't-
talking about people's anuses.
Yeah, didn't we?
Oh,
Didn't you
the little, he's
lot of
short,
that today.
right? He's short.
Men don't like it when you call it a little Enos, Ma.
No, in
Little Enos?
Smokey and the Bandit. Smokey and the Bandit. There was Little Enos and Big Enos.
Big Enos.
Wasn't he Little Enos?
right in the mouth? Greatest show ever. Watch Smokey the Bandits.
Oh, God.
Are you ready now?
I'm ready.
Hello, world. Hear that song that we're singing. Come on, get happy.
Da, 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 da.
I know it.
Good.
We'll be bringing.
Come on.
We'll make
then.
you happy.
Oh, the Partridge Family.
Yes, excellent.
Woo!
See, anytime I can get you to sing, this is I've done my job. So I'm going to give you a 2 for 2.
All right, 2 for 2.
Number 3. Boy, the way Glenn Miller played.
All in the Family.
Family. Boy, the way Glenn Miller
Miller played. Songs that make the head parade. That was the day.
made. Those were the days.
You know, there's much longer. You know, these are real
Wow.
songs where people had like
Oh,
2
yeah.
verses in them, and they only did the one. And actually, they shot that a couple of different ways with him smirking her at the end, and they actually switched it up a couple of seasons. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, they switched the lyrics at the end, right?
Yes, they did. Very
Yeah.
good, Judith.
I can't remember the reason why, but
All right, you ready for this one?
nobody could understand the lyrics, so they had to enunciate it.
Yes, she over enunciated the last one. Oh, God.
Gee, we had the songs that Miller played. Da, 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 da. G.R.O. LaSalle ran great. That was what nobody could understand.
We are old LaSalle ran great.
And nobody understood that.
You know, I met her, right? Jean Stapleton.
Stapleton?
Yes,
No, I did not know
I
this.
did. I met her.
Can you get her on the show? Okay.
Awkward.
Well, we have to dig her up.
That was being implied, but we know.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready for this one? I don't know.
Ready.
This one might be the toughest one.
Go ahead.
Come and knock on our door.
Oh,
And knock on our door. I didn't like the show. Three's Company.
Knock on our door.
We've been
Waiting for you.
Where the kisses are hers and his. Three's company too. This is us. Her.
Every week it was the same setup.
It was.
Every week.
Every week, Suzanne Summers' shorts were shorter.
No, it's just, there was a big mix-up, and Jack always ended up being the patsy.
Listen.
And then there was Mr. Roper.
Mr. Roper was great. Listen, that was like an iconic show as well. You can't deny it. Jack Ritter, what a unbelievable.
John Ritter.
John Ritter, but what's the character? It was Jack.
Jack.
Sorry.
You know that
Inflated.
Mrs. Roper,
Yes.
how she always wore the house.
Yes.
You know, they're back in style now.
House schmuck.
Yes, sadly enough.
Judy, you got a house schmuck?
No, when you consider that a caftan,
A caftan, but they're back in style.
I'm gonna get one.
I'm getting one. I'm gonna wear one on the next show.
yeah, I usually clean the house in a caftan.
You guys are never gonna get this one. You ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Who can turn the world on?
With a smile.
Who can turn the world on with her smile?
Go ahead.
Do.
Who can
Take a nothing day and suddenly take it over. I'm terrible with lyrics.
Yes.
Mary Tyler Moore.
That is correct. Well, it's really the Brace Yourself theme song.
It is the Brace Yourself theme song.
All right, you're never gonna get this one. Are you ready, Judy?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm ready.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Shamil.
5.
No, yes, Tommaso.
We're gonna
Learning Shirley.
give us any rule, we'll break it.
La,
Give us
la,
any
la, la,
rule,
la,
we'll take it.
That was a funny show.
Make our dreams come true.
You know, that was a really funny show. It
Learning
really
Shirley.
was.
Oh my God,
It
Squiggy.
was like Lucy and Ethel all over again.
What?
It was like Lucy and Ethel all
Oh
over
yeah, that was a
again.
great show.
Great show.
And I remember when Sarah was a baby, she had this weird hair thing. She would wake up in the morning with like the hair comes to a point, and I would walk in the morning and I'm like, "Good morning, Squiggy."
So again, another spin-off, like so Good Times spin-off of, Maud.
Yep. This was a
this
spin-off
spin-off
of Happy Days,
which spun off several other shows, like crazy spin-offs in their
Sunday,
generation.
Monday, Happy Days.
Right.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
We didn't
Happy
talk about
Days.
with Bernadette, like the Jeffersons theme song was written by Jeanette Dubois, who was
Yes.
Ilona.
And
And
Lionel
from
from the Jeffersons
wrote
wrote
Good Times, crazy stuff, Mike Evans. So
and Roxy Roker is the mother of
Yeah.
Lenny Kravitz.
you know what? Bring her back. I want to talk to her.
Bernadette, come back.
All right, so this is just a speed round.
Ooh.
I'm going to give you there's only 3 of them. I'm just going to give you the title of the song.
Speed round.
Just the title of the song, you got to guess what, and this is all decades now. I'm just going to hit
Okay.
you with 3 of them,
Go ahead.
and maybe I'm going to stump you and maybe I'm not. I
Ready.
think one might stump you.
I'm ready.
I'll be there for you.
Friends.
Friends. Ugh.
Where everybody knows your name.
Cheers.
Woke up this morning.
Oh, I know this. Woke up this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Did duck. I know this. Woke up. No.
Save that one for last, because I know you're not going to get this here.
Wait a minute. Woke up this
Say
morning.
more, give me more lyrics.
No, it's
Yeah.
not even a sitcom. I just threw it in.
Oh,
It's an iconic,
well,
it's an iconic series that was on cable. I'll give you that.
oh, I don't know.
Oh, Frank.
It had to do with, let's just say, mafia stuff.
Sopranos?
Correct. Woke up this morning.
Oh.
So I just kind of threw that in because I couldn't let you guys get them all.
Yeah, but I didn't get peppered.
You did pretty good.
I did pretty good.
You did get good. You had the
Considering
bowl of
we
peppers.
do have the bowl of peppers. Here they are.
See, Judy, look.
Look at all the peppers,
See the
Mom.
peppers? Everybody see the peppers?
Judy,
What? What?
See the
the
peppers?
peppers.
Oh, they look nice.
Oh.
I'm answering a fan. Excuse me.
Oh,
On
I'm
where?
so sorry.
Plenty of fish?
Wow.
Kind of fan? That is.
Oh, God.
It's on Easter. She comes over for breakfast in the morning, right?
Did
She's not there 2 seconds. She's like, so this guy on Plenty. I go, Mom,
There we go.
it's the Lord's Day. Can we
Right.
just
Let
not
Jesus,
be on
please.
Plenty of Fish just for one
Yeah,
day?
but I'm popular.
He rose from the dead that day.
Popular. She really is, though. Like, my inbox and Plenty of Fish stay empty for weeks. I love look who's calling me. Sarah. Hello? Clearly
She's like, end it already.
you're not watching Brace Yourself, because I'm still on the air.
Thanks, Sarah.
Bye.
Thanks, Sarah. Bye. The whole family. The whole family.
Unbelievable.
But it's awesome.
Unbelievable.
This was a good show.
It was.
Pretty exciting. Hour 20 is a long time.
Yeah, we went
Judy, did
over.
you like the interview? You did like the interview was great, right?
Yeah, it
She's
was. It was very good. I just wish you had better equipment.
awesome. Yeah,
I don't think it was
Frozen. You're frozen.
I think that was on her.
a little bit.
Yeah, no, I know,
Well,
but you know.
Listen, Judy, this
Yes.
is a
When we get in the studio, when we finally have a
wait,
roast,
this is a grassroots
100%.
show. We are, but now what? We got
True.
great. Oh, I have to mention our sponsor. So we
yes,
Sleepover Fairies. We're making a commercial for that soon, but we have the Sleepover Fairies.
we had that.
Let
set.
me
What happened? When are we redoing?
I know. We had an issue with
Scheduling.
scheduling, but here I'm going to put the
I like to say scheduling.
scheduling.
Judy, do you
What's
say
going on?
scheduling or scheduling?
Oh, I use the English variation, schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Scheduling.
Pat McCormick.
Goodness.
Where's
Jolly
where's
good.
our-
What?
Oh, here it is.
The
Here
Right.
it is. The Sleepover Fairies, 631-383-3848. Book your Sleepover Fairy
Sleep.
party. Let me tell you something. They do date night,
Sleep,
spa day,
Come on.
sleepovers,
Let's go.
glamping.
Has anybody called yet? I challenged all of you
It's
last week.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
I
The tents are
challenged
beautiful.
all 5 of you last week.
I am going to show you next week. Now,
Come on.
4 of you, come on. Get her done.
Now we're down to
All right.
3.
So we're going to go because I think we've overstayed our welcome,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Yeah.
next week,
It's just you and me
it's
right
just
now,
me
babe.
and you. That's what it is next
Maybe
week.
we'll have some new stuff to show you.
We might
Maybe.
have some new stuff.
Maybe
We
there's
might
new
have
stuff
a guest.
working in the brain.
I'm working on it. So anyway, everybody, thank you. Good night.
Peace.
Peace.
Love.
Love.
Good times.
Bye.
Times. Say goodbye, Judy.
Goodbye,
I
Judy.
did. I just said goodbye.
Goodbye, Judy.
All right, well, that's our show for tonight. Good night, everybody.
Good night. See you.
I- Yeah,
Yeah, we're
I think we're off.
We do this every week.
You think we know? Yeah, we're off. We're off, definitely.
You were awesome.
No, I couldn't do it without you.
So
stop.
You're unbelievable.
Stop.
You're amazing.
Everybody loves
It's
you.
you. No,
Everybody
it's
loves
you. It's
you.
not me. It's you.
It's
Trust me.
Rowan, Chris.
No, listen.
I
Look
think
at
we're
me.
still on.